Welcome to the Martin Benson Actors Podcast. I'm Martin, I'm your host, and I'm really excited to be starting this. I'm going to be sharing all kinds of different strategies on how you can grow your acting career. I actually run a headshot company called City Headshots, and that's kind of how I got started in all of this and became so connected to actors. Although previous to this, I was actually directing films and I studied at NYU Film School. So I met a lot of actors there, and I also met a ton of actors working in headshots. But what's interesting is that I didn't just work with actors when I shot headshots. I also worked with a lot of other people in different industries, and I learned a lot of interesting marketing strategies and just different things that different people across the spectrum use to get their names out there, promote their careers, grow their businesses, all of that. And of course, I've also studied and taken a lot of business programs and worked with business consultants and all of that. So a lot of these things that I teach can actually help actors grow their careers more quickly than many traditional methods that, you may have learned in school, or if you've taken some acting courses, you may have learned just some of the basic things like you need to get headshots, you need to get a reel, you want to get an agent. But I like to dive way deeper, and so that's what we're going to be covering in these podcasts. In fact, one of the clients that I worked with, it was incredible. He was always wanting to get on Broadway. It had been a long-term, I think 7-year goal for him. And when we worked together, I taught him something really simple called pride words, one of the things that I will actually be covering in future podcast episodes. And by using his pride words, along with just a few other networking strategies and simple tips that I teach, he actually wound up getting offered his first role in a Broadway show in just under 4 weeks of working with me. So just less than a month, and he got onto Broadway. So a lot of cool things I'm very, very excited to share with you. Of course, we'll be covering the basics like your headshots and reel and what goes into those. We'll also cover more advanced things such as putting together your website, or using something that I call the GIST method, the G-I-S-T method, to discover your types. And of course, we'll also be covering some interesting acting coaching stuff, that directing techniques that I've learned when I studied in NYU and that I use on a almost daily basis when I coach actors for scenes, because we also shoot scenes for their reels. And so not only will we be talking about marketing stuff in this podcast, but we're also going to be covering some acting technique stuff as well. So I'm extremely excited to get this going finally. It's been something I've wanted to do for a long time. And as you listen in, you can feel free to write me whenever you want. My direct email address is Martin, that's Martin, at cityheadshots.com, CITY, and then headshots with an S.com. So Martin at cityheadshots.com. You can write me directly with any questions that pop up, because I'm actually going to be using some of these questions that I get as topics for future podcast episodes. So no matter how in-depth or, you might think weird or uncommon your question might be, feel free to send it over to me. I'm not going to be able to turn every question into a podcast, because obviously I'm going to be getting a lot of questions as people listen to these, but I will be taking as many as I can and turning them into future episodes. Finally, be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any future episodes. And also, when you hit the subscribe button, it can also help the podcast itself because it makes the show a bit more easy to find for other actors who might find value in it as well. All right, so thank you so much, and I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes.